Welcome to this summary of the 2025 Development Discourse. Development Discourse is a platform for rigorous dialogue and ideas for Africa's development. My name is Patrick Okigbo. I'm the founding partner at Nextier. Nextier is a multi-competency advisory firm that's focused on addressing Africa's most complex development challenges. Margaret Mead once reminded us never to doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. This conviction animates our work at Nextier. It is the belief that societal transformation hinges on the deliberate actions of those unwilling to accept broken systems. Africa's development resembles the construction of a grand edifice, one that can only be raised by our own hands. In 2025, we convened 21 master builders from across public and private life to explore how the continent might achieve the escape velocity required for genuine economic transformation.
I fundamentally believe that we cannot build our country if we don't build our public sector institutions. In the private sector, there's an incentive to build great companies, and we have demonstrated that we can build great companies in many aspects.
In most African countries, in my view, they never quite attained independence, either because the colonials were not willing to let them go, or they were not willing to give up the thinking that the colonials brought to the table. Either way, it has become a case of mutual dependence, and therefore whatever the people who own the system, in quote, whatever they do reverberates through our system here. Yeah.
I am one of those people who think that Africa, we don't get enough credit for what we're doing, which is we're doing something that no industrialized country did.
Okay.
You know what that is?
Tell me.
Trying to industrialize as democracies.
The pace and scale of our development efforts simply is not enough. You can go from Cape to Cairo, from Nairobi to Abidjan. You will find good development projects, good development initiatives. But unfortunately, they continue to pale in comparison to the scale of our challenge, which is what brings me to the African Development Bank, which is, after working in development and getting global experience, watching all of these developments take place, I've come to the conclusion that the formula for development that saw Europe develop, America develop, Asia develop, is exactly the same that we need right here on the continent, which is massive investment and scale.
But there needs to be a very serious conversation about who owns data, about who is extracting the surplus, because we're going to come to very complicated conversations now about intellectual property. That seems to be on the back burner now. In the UK, very complicated conversations because of the use of AI and the rights that AI companies will have to just use the material for others. There's a pushback in the UK. I mean, if they're going to get that here, imagine the absorption of all what our creatives are doing on the continent. I think that kind of conversation, we cannot expect creatives to be doing that. They can't make the work and do that. We have to think of those power relations. Who is supposed to do that? That has to fall with the state.
I do really feel that leadership in Nigeria could turn Nigeria around in a 10-year time frame. But if we don't get it, I do think that Nigerians themselves, I think this incredible entrepreneurial spirit all across the Federation will eventually make Nigeria succeed, maybe in a 40-year time frame, which my young friends and colleagues are not going to be happy to hear that. So the more that we can see strong civil society networking at the local level, particularly engaging with these community associations, is important. Maybe something we haven't talked about is the importance of religious institutions. Much of my work has been on Muslim-Christian dialogue. The one massive civil society sector that every Nigerian belongs to is religious institutions. These are extremely powerful actors, and of course I wouldn't necessarily say that they're always progressive, but they certainly, all across the Federation, Muslim, Christian, traditional religion, you name it, I think there's a strong interest in progressive governance in terms of anti-corruption. This is something that I think all the religious institutions are deeply set against, and I think that's a unifying factor.
This year, or put in the budget of this year, take a little bit from the Christmas party, or take a little bit from whatever party you organize. Can you buy 1 hour work that you put in a public place in your office? Now, if 1,000 companies were to do a little thing that will not change their budgets, and were to put 1 hour work by the reception or in a public place there, then millions of people will see our works, or many more artworks. Of course, it's not the solution. We need museums, we need public art, we need virtual museums, we need many other things. But I always start saying, what can I do? It's very little. I'm not changing Nigeria. I'm not solving the problem at all. But if somebody comes to my office and sees an artwork and says, wow, this is beautiful, this is wonderful, that's okay. That's already something.
Yeah. Having trained as a lawyer, I want to say something that a lot of lawyers may not find very happy, but I think may not be very happy with. But the thing that has entrenched this, in my view, is the teaching of law, the way we teach law. We teach law as doctrine. And you see, learning by the road. When you repeat doctrine and repeat doctrine and repeat doctrine, you program people against curiosity and against intellectual honesty, against facts and against evidence. Okay? So, first of all, we have programmed people in 2 ways. Number 1, we program law graduates to believe that judges are a superior breed. They can do no wrong. My law, they won't share. And, all that obsequiousness then precludes people from looking at the evidence of corruption before them. The evidence of things that should not happen.
Yeah, I mean, if in 5 years' time you could say there is like a joint venture factory producing messenger RNA Lassa fever vaccines in Nigeria, that would make me incredibly proud.
When a government can get resources from somewhere other than its own people, its attention becomes on that other source, and it breaks the bond between the population and the government.
We can truly raise the capital that we need to solve, the infrastructure deficit on the continent. I think it was FSD Africa that said there's $2.4 trillion of domestic institutional money, not doing very much. I think some of it is in time deposits, some of it is in treasuries. And all of this can be patient capital that can be deployed to try and solve the continent's problems.
Africa needs to take up the challenge of today and convince the world that it wants to be a responsible partner in almost all phases of development. There's no other answer to it. And again, it goes back to what I've been saying. So it must industrialize, it must grow its economy, it must educate its people, it must ensure peace and security in the continent, and it must trade within itself.